By the end of this video, you'll know why the Galaxy Tab S12 leak matters more than any screen size rumor. Samsung's own AI core app points to MediaTek's Dimensity 9500, and that choice screams one thing: on-device AI first. Performance, thermals, privacy, and even software updates could shift fast. The most interesting part of this leak isn't a render, a benchmark, or a carrier listing. It's code, specifically strings and references spotted inside Samsung AI core app that appear to name a new flagship tablet family and the silicon it's built around. Android Authority reported references to MT6993, a model identifier tied to MediaTek's Dimensity 9500. If that mapping holds, it's a clear early signal that the next Galaxy Tab S12 lineup may ditch the familiar Snapdragon path and commit to a different high-end platform. That matters because it hints at two moves at once. First, a continuing shift in Samsung's premium tablet chipset strategy. Second, a product direction where local AI processing is the headline feature, not an add-on. This isn't coming out of nowhere. Samsung has already been steering its upper-tier slates toward MediaTek in recent cycles. The Galaxy Tab S10 and Galaxy Tab S11 were both linked to high-end Dimensity parts, and that pattern lines up with what we're seeing now. If the Tab S12 series follows the same playbook, it becomes less of an experiment and more of a settled plan. The practical takeaway: Samsung may no longer treat Qualcomm as the default for its top tablets. Instead, it's choosing the chip that best fits its goals for sustained performance, battery efficiency, and the kind of on-device intelligence that needs consistent thermal headroom. So why does the Dimensity 9500 stand out? The most repeated detail is the manufacturing process, TSMC at 3 nanometer. That typically points to better power efficiency and improved performance per watt, which is exactly what tablets need. People don't just open an app and close it. They run split screen, keep a dozen tabs alive, sketch, edit photos, and play games for long sessions. A flagship slate can't feel fast for 2 minutes and then fade. It has to stay smooth. That's where architecture and thermals start to matter more than peak numbers. Another detail floating around is an all-big-core CPU approach. In plain terms, that suggests MediaTek is prioritizing sustained throughput rather than juggling a mix of tiny and mid-cores for lighter tasks. Pair that with a newer Mali graphics setup, and the target is obvious: stable gaming performance, strong multitasking, and fewer dips when the device is under constant load. If you've used a large-screen Android tablet as a real work machine, you know the pain points. Heat leads to throttling. Throttling leads to stutter. And stutter ruins everything from video exports to high refresh rate gaming. A cooler chip doesn't just protect the battery, it protects the entire experience. Now let's talk about the other half of this leak, the software direction. Inside AI Core, the references aren't subtle. The strings point toward features like AI-generated wallpapers, generative image editing, image expansion, and image harmonization. Those aren't vague marketing phrases. They're concrete tools, and they align with a very specific ambition: do more creative work locally, with less dependence on cloud processing. The AI-generated wallpapers are the easy sell. They're fun, they personalize the device, and they're visually obvious in a demo. But the heavier features are the real story. Generative image editing implies object removal, content-aware filling, and intelligent edits that usually rely on remote servers. Image expansion suggests outpainting, extending a photo beyond its original frame while matching the style and context. And image harmonization, as described, is about making edits look natural by adjusting lighting and color when a subject is moved onto a different background. That last one is a big deal because it's the difference between an edit that looks believable and one that looks posted. If Samsung is pushing these features to run on the device, it's telling you the tablet is being designed around quick, private, low-latency creation. On-device AI has 3 practical advantages for a tablet. First, speed. If the model runs locally, you're not waiting on an upload, processing queue, and download. You tap, the device computes, you see the result. That responsiveness matters more on a tablet because people use them like canvases. They expect instant feedback. Second, reliability. If you're offline on a plane or in a weak signal area, Cloud tools can stall. Local processing doesn't care. For a premium slate that's often used on the move, that's a quality of life upgrade you feel immediately. Third, privacy. Not every edit should require sending personal photos to remote servers. Keeping more of the work on the tablet reduces exposure and gives users more control over where their data goes. It's not a perfect shield, but it's a clear step in the direction many buyers want. And there's another angle that doesn't get enough attention. Thermals and AI are connected. Running AI models takes power. Power creates heat. Heat forces clocks down. So a tablet positioned around local AI needs a chip and cooling design that can maintain performance without turning the back into a hand warmer. If Samsung is leaning into on-device intelligence, picking a platform known for strong sustained behavior starts to make strategic sense. Now, the moment everyone asks, how does MediaTek stack up against Snapdragon? Based on current testing chatter, the Dimensity 9500 is set to land slightly behind the competing Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 in raw CPU peak output. But the same comparisons often show the MediaTek part doing very well in gaming and, more importantly, holding lower temperatures under long sessions. For a tablet, sustained load is the real test. A phone can get away with short bursts. The 12-inch class device gets used for longer periods. Extended gaming, longer editing sessions, multi-window productivity, and streaming while doing something else. If the chip stays cooler, it can keep frames stable and keep the UI responsive. There is, however, a realistic trade-off that power users should keep in mind. Certain niche apps, like some emulators, have historically been better optimized around Snapdragon-friendly drivers and ecosystem habits. That doesn't mean MediaTek can't run them. It means your results may vary depending on the exact app and the developer's priorities. Now zoom out from performance and look at Samsung's business logic. Qualcomm's top-end pricing tends to rise each cycle. At the same time, MediaTek has closed the gap enough that the old assumption that a Dimensity flagship is a compromise doesn't really hold the way it used to. If Samsung can get comparable real-world performance, better sustained thermals, and a stronger fit for local AI workloads, while also improving margins or supply flexibility, the decision starts to look straightforward. There's also the software angle. If Samsung unifies its premium tablet lineup around one chipmaker across more markets, it can reduce fragmentation. Less variation in chip configurations can mean fewer weird regional differences, smoother QA, and potentially faster, more consistent updates. That's not guaranteed, but it's the theory, and it's one reason companies like simplifying hardware stacks. So what devices are we actually talking about? The leak points toward a Galaxy Tab S12 family, with expectations of a Tab S12 Plus and a Tab S12 Ultra. So far, a smaller base model doesn't appear to be in the cards, at least based on the information currently circulating. That would align with Samsung focusing the premium lineup on bigger displays where productivity and creative work make more sense. As for timing, the chatter points to a late-year window, with September often mentioned because it matches Samsung's usual premium tablet cadence. One set of expectations also pins a September 2026 arrival, along with a rumored 12.4-inch AMOLED panel at 120 Hz. Treat those display and date details carefully because they can change, and none of it is official. What feels more solid, at least as far as leaks go, is the direction. Samsung is building the next flagship tablet experience around a platform that can power on-device AI features smoothly without turning every creative tool into a cloud request. And that brings us back to the clue that started all of this: AI Core. When a company's own app references a model identifier like MT6993 and pairs it with feature strings tied to a new product line, it's not a random guess. It's usually the result of internal development work that has already begun. It's still not confirmation, but it's a meaningful signal. If the Tab S12 series does land with a Dimensity 9500, it tells us Samsung is confident in MediaTek at the very top end, and it tells us the next premium slate won't just sell speed. It'll sell capability, local editing tools, smarter visual processing, and personalization features that work quickly, even when you're offline. For tech buyers, the decision will come down to real-world execution. Do the AI tools feel fast and consistent? Does the device stay cool under pressure? Are app compatibility quirks minimal? And does Samsung price it like a true flagship without pushing it into laptop territory? Until Samsung speaks officially, the smartest stance is cautious optimism. But the leak already paints a clear picture. The next Galaxy Tab S12 generation is being shaped around MediaTek silicon and a stronger on-device AI identity, with sustained performance and thermals as key selling points. The Tab S12 leak isn't just about a different chip. It's about Samsung reshaping the flagship tablet around on-device AI. The AI core references to MT6993 suggest Dimensity 9500 power, with a focus on efficiency, sustained performance, and creative tools that don't need the cloud. If the software delivers, the experience could feel faster, cooler, and more private. I want to know your take. Would you rather have peak benchmark numbers or lower heat with stronger on-device AI tools on a big tablet? Drop your pick and why in the comments, and I'll reply with my verdict. So that's all we know for now. We'll be sure to keep you updated as soon as we have more information. Thanks for watching.